Alright, now that you got a general idea how the wiring is pretty much ran from the front to the rear, um, it'll be a lot more simple to explain the signal lights. And the signal lights look different here. Alright, like I said, with the running lights, you hit one switch, you want all your running lights to come on. So that's pretty simple. It's just all wired together. One power wire running from the front, switch to shut it on and off at your discretion, and you pretty much run everything together. And the signal lights look different because you got your left and your right signals. Alright, so it's got to be separate. Now, I did the same thing with the signal light as I did with the running lights. The only difference, I didn't run them all four together. So you got this front one here, and the rear signal light, they ran together. Alright, and then over here is the same way. Alright, this time I ran from the front to rear. Alright, so as far as your signal lights go, they run up this frame here, and I got the switch wired in. So when you buy one of these switches, these scooter switches, they come with wires. It's got the high and low beam. It's got the signal wires. Now it's color coded. Well, let's just go with the wiring system without that. All right. So basically, this front left signal is pretty much wired to the rear left signal. Just ran in series. Just ran one wire from one to the other. Okay, so you can see here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but sorry for the bad lighting in the video, but right here and right here, now that's coming from the rear signal light. Okay, so I basically just spliced into the front. Alright, and then the power wire for the signal runs from the battery, and then it's just one power line running into the switch, which powers pretty much everything else. Once the switch is powered, then you can hit left right signal, and just use the power from that one wire going into the switch to power high low beams and left and right signal. So once you get your switch powered, or you can get a toggle switch that got on, off, on, or like high and low. That's the way I had mine set up at first before I got this switch. It was just a toggle switch that had pretty much on, off, on. It's kind of hard to find, but then you gotta make mounting plates and all that. Or these are pretty much set up, and it's a lot cleaner. Looks a lot neater too. But you have your one power wire on from your battery box, the same way I was explaining over video. Goes down through the bottom, wire up your frame however you want, outside or inside, however you do that. And once it comes up to here, you're gonna power that to the switch. Now once that switch is powered, and it's on off, like in the center here, it's off. It ain't powered until you switch it one way or the other. Oh, you know how that works. Alright. Now, once you come out of that switch, you get your left signal wire and your right signal wire. You figure out by the color code. It normally comes with the switch. It'll tell you which wire is, like blue is left signal and white might be the right signal. Alright, so you figure out which is which. And all you do, it's the same thing I did with the running lights. You splice into the main power wire the rear left signal light wire runs straight down the frame to the front left signal. You find the wire from the switch. That's your left signal wire. And just splice it into the wire to, like, let's say we got this wire here. And see, this is from this butt end. It's just running from here. That's it, from the rear. It just runs down and connects to this one right here. Put the butt end on this one, the little short wire, and then I spliced into it from my switch. All the wires run down through this. Found the wire that goes to the left and just spliced into it like I did with this one. So when you hit that left switch, both of these blink at the same time. And then you do the same thing with the other side. That's how the signal works. Now the thing with the signal light is you have to wire the relay in. Now this relay requires 3 wires. As you can see here. When you buy them, they have a diagram on it. You can look it up online, how that works. One is a ground, one is a power, and then one is the actual relay wire. It actually, what it does is just, like I said, I might be preaching to the choir here. You might already know how relays operate, but pretty much the power wire from your battery gonna run to your relay. Then you got a ground that runs to your frame. The other wire will be the power wire that's running to the front. And all it does is when you hit that switch, it just give it power, cuts it off, give it power, cuts it off. So both left signal lights, front and rear, will blink at the same time. And that's how that works. Now, once you get this switch power, everything is up front. Once you run your power wire to the switch, and that's why I got 2 separate batteries. One, like I said, a little battery runs the running lights and the signals, because all I needed for the running lights was a power wire to run to this toggle switch, and once I hit that switch, it just powered all the time. Signal lights a little different. I just ran another power wire from the same little battery to the relay, the ground, and then like I said, the other wire runs through the front, which actually shorts out that power. Alright, and the headlights is the same way. Like I said, with this switch, once you power this, the lights automatically come on. So if I didn't put that toggle switch in there, those lights are still, one of those lights will still be on. And in this switch system, it has a high and low beam wire. You just find out which is which, and wire it however you want to, or you can just use low or high beam. Now if you really just run it, if you're not running a low and high beam setup like I have, then you really don't need all that. All you need is a toggle switch. I wouldn't even worry about it off this. Just run it right off the toggle switch. You run it, your power wire up to your toggle switch, and then run it to your light. Now like I said, these lights came with a power and a ground wire. So if I can get the setup in the rear here, if you can see this, let me back this up. This one, right up in here. Up. Give me a second here. If you see that wire here and that yellow button, it's actually bolted to this angle. I actually ran bolts and just ran the wire, put a end on it, and ground it to the frame there. So you got your power running from your rear up to your toggle switch. If you're running only one light, if you're not running a high and low beam setup, then you just pretty much need a toggle switch. Now the toggle switch, these toggle switches is pretty much, I did with that. It's just a piece of metal running across, and I just drill holes in it big enough that the toggle switches slide up through it, and then you put your top bolt on, lock it in, and then that's actually tied in to the bracket that holds down the bar down, just like the front is. front piece ain't lying. But like I said, you want it tight enough to, what you want to do is put 1 or 2 small washers in there. Now what that does, it tightens down tight enough to the handlebar won't move, and it don't leave enough space for these to be jiggling around this, and they won't be jiggling around as you ride. And that's pretty much it. And then you'll have your full setup. And once you get an understanding how your power is ran and your ground, each individual part you buy, your brake light, your signal lights or whatever, they're going to tell you how it's wired. Which wire is your power wire, which wire is your ground, and which wire that, like I said, from the relay, it'll tell you which wire runs to the light itself. So it's got a power wire from the battery, ground wire to ground, and then it'll tell you the other wire runs to the light. So all you have to do is get your frames, get your mount set up first, and your lights. Get everything set up how you want it first. And I would just, like I said, wire front left signal to the rear left signal, right signal to the rear right signal. I would somehow just basically run all my running lights. If you're going to go with the running lights, just run them all together. I want one wire from the front right to the front left to the rear right to the rear left, and then run into the battery. Or run into the toggle switch. And then from the other end of the toggle switch, run into the battery. Once you get that one switch, all your running lights come on. And then with the signals, like I said, you want left and right. So whether you use a toggle switch or the scooter switch that I got, I don't know which setup you are actually going with, but typically that's how it goes. Once you kind of get your setup in mind, your wiring part is, and just get an understanding, you can go online or YouTube and just get a general idea how these lights are normally wired. Once you mount them, then you can figure out from there how you want to run your wires or whatever, because you know what goes to what. I would just get red and black wires. I use a lot of black wires because this frame is basically black, and it kind of, when I'm running them, they blends into the frame. So I didn't want to use, that's why I ran the power wire, which is red, so I know the difference through the frame. For each setup, how the hind low being set up, a signal and the running light. I use red wires for the power, but I ran them through the frame so it won't be overtly obvious. As you can see here, that red is show out. But if you notice here, I got black wires. I got a lot of black wires and stuff running here and up front. But even in the daylight, at any given distance, you really don't notice the wire. I mean, you really have to get close up to it before you actually, and you barely notice it then. If it wasn't for the blue button connectors, you wouldn't even notice. I might have to spray paint those, put some black tape on them or something. And that's pretty much it. Maybe that was a rough explanation or whatever, but if you really want to get more into details or something, just drop me a note. I'll focus in on any particulars. But it's just a general wire set, like you would put fog lights on your car. How would you tap into the power system? Just imagine if you want to hook fog lights to blink with your signal lights. All you need is a ground, and then tap into the actual wire that makes your signal light blink. And that's pretty much it. And then figure out where you want to mount it at. So, I mean, once you get it all together, it looks complex, but just deal with each system individually. You'll be alright. Alright, that's pretty much it. Like I said, if you need me on more in depth on any particulars, just let me know. Alright, this is my 80cc motorized bike called Shogun.